morning, healthy people. Welcome back to Breaking News Live. We're giving health information from all around the world. And for today, April 5, 2023, with me, Ika Fadillah, we bring several health information that's still happening until now. And here is the topic one. Stunting is still a major health problem in the world. Based on data from the Indonesian Nutrition Status Survey, the prevalence of stunting in Indonesia in 2022 was around 22%. Although it has decreased from the previous year, the stunting prevalence rate in Indonesia is still very high. This number still exceeds the maximum stunting rate in the country by WHO and still far from the Indonesian government's target to reach 14% in stunting prevalence by 2024. The high number of stunting cases in Indonesia is certainly very worrying, and it's necessary to stop the vicious cycle of stunting cases. So what can we do to prevent stunting? Let's take a look at the video conference held by the Indonesian Ministry of Health to get more information about stunting. We already connect with our reporter, Heidi. How is the conference scheduled?
Here I am directly at the location of press conference held by the Ministry of Health Indonesia. This conference was held to discuss about the threat of stunting in Indonesia to the nation's next generation. The conference will be delivered by Ms. Maulina Istighfaroh as a representative of Coordination Stunting Management Team from the Ministry of Health. Here we broadcast the press conference live.
Good morning. In today's press conference, I will convey the development of stunting in Indonesia and what can we do to prevent it. So I will explain a brief about the stunting. So until now, stunting is still a major public health problem in the world. And stunting is a condition where there is impaired growth and development in children caused by chronic malnutrition since the first 1,000 days of life. In general, the characteristic of children who are stunted are that they have a height and weight that is significantly lower than their peers. Based on the data from the Indonesian Nutrition Status Survey or Survey Status Gizi Indonesia or SSGI, the prevalence of stunting in Indonesia in 2021 was 24.4%. And this number in the next year, in 2022, this number is decreased into 21.6%. Although it has decreased, the stunting prevalence rate in Indonesia is still very high. This is because the prevalence of stunting in Indonesia still exceeds from the maximum standard from the WHO, whereas the prevalence of stunting in a country cannot be exceed from 20%. In addition, the prevalence of stunting in Indonesia in 2022 is also still far from the government's target to reach 14% of stunting prevalence in 2024. The high number of stunting cases in Indonesia is certainly very worrying. The reason is this stunting has a huge consequences for the next generation of the nation. Stunting is proven to have some consequences, including poor cognition and educational performances, low adult wages, as well as lost productivity. In addition, stunting can also increase the risk of the child of experiencing various health problems, for example, diabetes mellitus, hypertension, and also cancer when they become adults. Because of many impacts caused by the stunting, it is very important to us to prevent stunting for our next generation. As the prevention of stunting, it needs collaboration with several parties and also from the community. So what can we do to prevent stunting? There is at least several prevention measures that can be done by the several parts of the community, including the teenage girl and then young adult, and also pregnant and giving birth women, and the last from the families, especially from the father. And I will explain about what can be done to prevent this stunting. So the first is the prevention of stunting by the teenager, especially by the teenage girl. So there is some ways to prevent stunting that can be done by teenage girl. The first is getting used to clean and healthy living behavior, balanced nutrition pattern, and also not smoking and not using drugs. And then learning about reproductive health. This can be done by the teenage girl from age 14 until 17 years old. And also, especially for the teenage girl, consumption of blood supplement tablets need to be done regularly to prevent stunting. And then the second is the prevention of stunting by early adults. So there is some way to prevent stunting that can be done by the early adult. For example, the first is understanding about family planning, and then conduct early detection of infectious and non-communicable disease, and then implementation of healthy living behaviors, balanced nutrition patterns, not smoking, and also not using drugs. And the third is prevention of stunting by pregnant women and also giving birth women. There is several ways that can be done by the pregnant and giving birth women to prevent stunting. The first is optimal health monitoring and handling in the first 1,000 days of baby's life, and then pregnancy checks of our antenatal care routinely and periodically. And then the third is carry out the delivery process at the nearest health facilities, such as in the doctor, midwives, and also in the nearest puskas. And then provide food in the high calorie, protein, and micronutrients for the baby, and then set communicable and non-communicable disease only, and then eliminate the possibility of children getting born. And the last is perform exclusive breastfeeding for 6 full months. And then the last prevention can be done by the family, especially by the fathers. There is some way that can be done by the nearest family, especially the fathers. The first is routinely monitor the growth and development of the toddlers, and then providing supplementary food, and then do early stimulation of child development, and the last is providing optimal health service and care for children. Okay, that's all for today's press conference. Hopefully, we can achieve our target of 14% of stunting cases by 2024. Let's prevent stunting together. Thank you and good morning.